Hi, my name is Laura. I'm visually impaired, and this is my guide dog, Ruth. I am here today to speak about, first off, I just want to say thank you for having me here at the Transportation Board meeting today of Hernando County, Brooksville, Florida. I just recently got my guide dog, Ruth, from my school Dogs.Inc. from Palmetto, Florida, and we had a wonderful time. When we got home, which was in like December 18th, December 19th, we crossed the 8 lanes to go to Publix, and that's at Cortez Boulevard. And if you're facing, say this is, if I'm facing straight, the Bank of America is straight ahead. There's 8 lanes. We crossed it. I was crying tears of joy because this is the first time, you're in school, that's school. You get outside of that school, you get to be around. We had to reacclimate ourselves to basically my neighborhood, I wanted to reacclimate myself with Ruth, getting her to get familiar with everything. So we crossed the 8 lanes. I broke down in tears. I was happy. I was so happy because I'm out of school and you're crossing the 8 lanes. And my goal was to cross 8 lanes. The biggest intersection I crossed in school was 6, and so this was 8. So when we crossed it, I hugged her. I cried. And this is like semis and all this stuff. I'm like, you know what? I prayed. I said a prayer to Jesus to get me across those lanes, and we did. But we kept crossing those lanes, and we kept crossing those lanes, and we kept crossing those lanes. And I just thank Jesus for Ruth. I really do, because she's not only my eyes, she's my heart and soul. And I'm so glad to be here today. Now, when we go to Walmart, we can walk from Publix to Walmart. There is that intersection, it's Buck Hope, I believe. There is it looks like woods, but you can see cars that are going down like on your right. There's, a stream of traffic on to my left. It's got to be Buck Hope. And so that intersection is a non-lighted intersection. So that, to me, is my next goal to, we can cross it, but it's no light. So it's not like the 8 lanes to where there is a light and it's controlled by a traffic light. So we walked to Walmart. Now, we also walked on another route. We didn't go to Luigi's Italian restaurant. We walked toward it. So that's going northbound, but going towards Walmart is southbound. So we, did another route. We went walking toward Luigi's, which is northbound. And there is an intersection where, because I live in Candlelight Apartments. So if I get out and I turn, there's like a intersection, and you cross it, and then you go straight, and then the Starbucks is like right on the corner. Well, crossing that, we could do it. That's also another intersection that is kind of weary for us. Not that we can't cross it, but so we walked toward Luigi's Italian restaurant. It's a pretty long walk, and that's great. We like to get out in nature and sunshine. Every place that you can think of, there's little side streets, but every little side street we crossed, it seemed like every driver would not yield to us or yield to anybody else. And it was very frustrating for Ruth and I. And this is the first time that I was with Ruth, and I was angry. I really was. But I had to hold my hand out to say, stop. And sometimes I had to get angry. But, I'm a citizen of this county of Hernando County. And I was like, so I told John, I said, look, I'll just bring this idea up to you. You can take it from there. It was my idea that I brought it up to John, the county commissioner of Hernando County. For every driver that does not yield to pedestrians, they'll be fined a fee. Nobody likes to pay fees. Nobody likes to pay fees if it's DUI or whatever. But maybe people will actually stop and think, oh, if I don't yield to a pedestrian, I'm gonna get fined. That'll be just on another stack of things, another thing that they have to pay along with their bills. I live in my own one-bedroom apartment in Brooksville and Candlelight. I have my guide dog, Ruth. I'm independent. I'm a citizen of this county, and I'm very happy to be. But I would just like to create a change and to see people, drivers, yield to pedestrians of any kind, not just people like me. But one of the reasons why I'm here today is to create change and see that drivers yield to pedestrians. And I could be, one of your children. I could be somebody on a high school softball team. I could be deaf or another disability. But I'm here today because I really wanted to create change in Hernando County. I mean, when I used to live in Port Richey, Florida, I lived there for 15 years, and I saw these little memorial flowers, and I didn't know what they were, but they looked like somebody died. And someone said, yeah, someone got ran over. I said, oh my God, what? And they said, yeah, some guy ran a red light, and somebody was crossing the street, and they ran over him, and that's why we have these little memorial flower things. I don't want to see that here in Hernando County. And I don't want to be the next one to get run over. So that's why I'm here today, to create change in Hernando County. Thank you so much for letting me be here today.
Thank you, Laura.
Thank you so much.
So Laura she reaches out to me fairly regularly. We're pretty excited about getting Ruth, and then, like I said, she got that experience right across here in Brooksville, and it is the law at this point. But I figured this was a good place to start, have this conversation, and see if maybe when we're dealing with some of these programs, like this, the DOT, we're not going with Project Zero, but we're doing Project Bring It Down to better levels than it is. But maybe adding some signage or some education program out there related to the rules of the road and yielding to pedestrians might be something that we could add into the Hernando and potentially the Citrus portion of those programs for this next year, where we're trying to reduce fatalities. We're dealing with DUIs, we're dealing with motorcycles and bicyclists. Well, pedestrians, they're not moving at all. So when you talk about physics, they're really at a disadvantage when it comes to a collision with a motor vehicle. So anyway, I thought it would be a good place for Laura to come here, speak before us, and then if she needs to, she got her practice out of the way, if she needs to go speak to other bodies as well, because I knew this would be a friendly environment for her to be in.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. I know I've had similar experiences with.
Yeah, you're going to have to give your name.
Oh, this is Gretchen Samter. I am the
Hi.
citizen resident with a disability. I have had similar issues. I sometimes use a wheelchair, and I've had similar issues I primarily walk around over in the Spring Hill area off of 19, and it would be wonderful if people would pay better attention.
That would be wonderful.
Yes, go ahead,
I'd also
Melissa.
like to add, Melissa Arsenault, citizen advocate, and I very much feel what she is saying, because I live near the intersection of Four Corners, which is Mariner and Spring Hill, and I almost watch somebody get killed every single day because nobody pays attention. When the other lanes are turning, people don't pay attention when they get the walk. So I 100% support and believe that even if it's just an educational campaign, I'm all for finding people when they do wrong, for the record, but
Absolutely.
even, I'm down for that, but starting Because even in the school zones, I travel to 2 different school zones every day, it's ridiculous. At Springstead, kids almost get run over, and there are cops standing on the road.
Yeah.
So educational, whatever needs to happen, I think we should definitely put this somewhere as a priority.
And just to clarify, Laura's talking about 41, 50 and 41, right in here in Brooksville, and then there's Buck Hope, and I believe Barnett is the other one that she has made her way down to get over to Walmart. It's kind of, it's almost comical when you think about it. Say you're safer staying on the highway when you're walking than you are on some of those side roads, unfortunately. but it's reality because people just aren't paying attention. Is there anybody else who wants to speak on this? You know what? I'm gonna reach out because Jerry, you know what? I see you out there, and I say a prayer every time I see you on there. You want to give any prayer together? You have anything you want to get? Anything else you want to add to this?
No, it's important or even going to different organizations, POT maybe, or it's a petition.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm first going to put it on Mary and Joy to make sure that Steve has an opportunity to review this, okay? And then maybe we can add this discussion to our next MPO meeting. And we always have DOT reps that are there for that, so that'll be helpful. And Steve, if we can maybe, just find a way to maybe make that an emphasis in this next year as we are moving forward with education campaigns and that to just, because I've been in, usually you see it in area, and the funny thing is you usually see these signs in areas where it's a lot slower traffic. And the reality is we need it in the areas where the traffic goes from 0 to 60 in 5.0 seconds. Especially, yeah. Lisa, go ahead.
Lisa Becker, the signs that are on 50 by Coney Island for the trail, who put those in?
So that would be, you're talking about on what, Jefferson, you mean?
Jefferson, yeah.
That would be, I would assume it's a city.
I would assume it was the city, but I can double check that, who actually put them in, but I believe.
Because those are